Hi, good morning and good evening. It's Pashmina P. from Hasmark Publishing International, and today I am with Michael R. Johns, author of From a Father to a Child. Hi, Mike. How are you?
Good, Pashmina. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here. So we have a few questions we'd love to ask you for your readers.
Sure.
We're just going to get right into that. Your book is about legacy and a work-life balance. Can you tell us what was your inspiration to write your book?
When my first son was born back in 2006, but my wife and I went through the normal things we go through. You update your will, you update your life insurance, and things of that nature. But it occurred to me, if something happened to me, there'd be nobody there to impart my own values and beliefs, and the kids couldn't hear my own words. And so I decided, I'm a voracious reader myself, and so I decided that a book was probably the best way to go about leaving something behind for them. So that's really where the idea came from.
It is spectacular to leave a legacy behind for your children, especially with a book. And who did you write this book for?
Well, it was really for my three kids. So today Nicholas is 14, Haley Rose is 11, and Noah is 6. But I really wrote it for them. I wanted to have something to leave behind for them in the awful event something happened to me, but really it was for them.
That's beautiful, Mike. That's really wonderful. And what are some of the principles of parenting you discuss in your book?
I don't know that I go into a lot of parenting, although I think there's certainly themes throughout the book. But you've probably heard the saying, do as I say, not as I do. And I think for parents, it's important to recognize that kids are more likely to do as you do versus do as you say. And so you're constantly setting an example for whether you recognize it or not. And so, as I wrote the book and started thinking through, boy, I fell short over here today, or I didn't do that yesterday, but that it was really a good learning piece for me. But that's kind of the general theme, is just keep in mind that you're setting an example.
I love that, because that's so true. Children do mirror everything that they see. They're so innocent.
Do.
Yeah. And in your mind, what is a healthy family, community, working environment?
Well, that's a deep question. The one thing I periodically will catch my kids arguing over something is always practice the golden rule. Treat people as you would want them to treat you, or in the case of a toy, how would you want to be treated if she took your toy, or if he did that to you? And so, I'll ask them that question a lot. But I think that would be the biggest thing.
Do unto others as you'd have others do unto you. That's a really good principle. And what is the greatest lesson your own children will garner from reading your book?
Well, if I left them with one thing, and I think the very last chapter on this, but if I left them with one thing, it would be, you can have, be, or do anything you want in life. There's really only two variables, and those variables are time and effort. And I spend a fair amount of time talking about that in a couple of different chapters, but we end with that. That would be the one thing that I would ask them or would hope that they would get out of it. You people telling you you're not smart enough, you're not talented enough, that idea won't work. And, if you believe in something, then go for it.
Yeah, that's such a great message from the dad, that you're giving your children. And who is your biggest inspiration, Mike?
Boy, that's a hard one. I don't know if inspiration is something you got to be looking for. I don't think it just comes and finds you necessarily, but I'd say my three kids. You've got three people. My wife is fortunate; she's a stay-at-home mom. But when you've got people dependent on you for just even the basics, food, shelter, and clothing, that's an awesome responsibility. And so if we can cover that and then leave them with some important life lessons along the way, that's really why I wrote it and what I hope to leave them with.
Remarkable. And who is your favorite author and why?
So one that there's probably a few, but the one guy I would mention is a guy named John Maxwell. He's written a lot of books in more of a business setting, but he's written books on leadership, on his view on what it takes to be successful. But one of my favorite books that he wrote was a book called Failing Forward. And Pashmina, I swear I came up with this idea, and I should have written a book about it about 10 years ago. But the concept is it's okay to fail, so long as you fail fast and you learn even faster. You keep around making the same mistakes over and over, obviously, but you learn a lot more from your mistakes than you do from your successes. And so that's a John Maxwell.
I agree with that. I totally agree with that. And what is the biggest takeaway you want your readers to get from your book?
Probably the same thing. My answer would probably be the same that I said for my kids. If there's something that you want to achieve, don't let other people set a ceiling on what you go after. You're going to have to work hard for stuff, for sure. It's not just going to come after you, but believe in yourself and dream big and aim high and go after it. That'd probably be the biggest thing I'd leave.
And where can your audience find you, and when are you launching?
Well, so the book launches on June 9th, just in time for Father's Day. It'll be on Amazon.com, and you can follow me on Facebook. You can search me on Michael Johns, or on LinkedIn. You can find me at Michael Johns, and I've got a website called michaelrjohns.com.
Thank you so much, Mike, and happy Father's Day to you, and we can't wait to hold your book in our hands.
Oh, thank you so much.
Take care.